Good morning, people. Watch Woman 65. Lisa Boyce here. I just wanted to come on this morning and give you a little bit of something that I just found out on Breitbart. It says, and this is going to shock a lot of people, U.S. faces meat shortages as pork, other protein exports to China soar. Now, I was just talking about the meat shortage a few days ago. But this is what just came out. It says here the coronavirus outbreak has impacted the U.S. food supply chain, including the disease infecting workers at meat processing plants, causing operations to shut down and resulting in slaughtering of livestock that can't be processed and shipped to retailers. But at the same time, the U.S. is facing meat and protein shortages. Pork and other exports to China have soared. It says meat packers and livestock producers in the United States have spent at least a year adjusting to the surge in business to China, which has faced a severe pork shortage in the wake of its battle against African swine fever. But now, as the United States is on the brink of its own meat crisis due to the coronavirus pandemic, American pork suppliers are being, listen very carefully to this. American pork suppliers are being shipped off to China at a breakneck pace, creating the perfect recipe for additional U.S.-China tensions. This is ridiculous. For some American consumers, the optics of this situation might be poor given how the virus originated in China last year. But the record U.S. meat exports to China have been the plan all along, to satisfy both China's need and to lift U.S. businesses. I don't get this. This is terrible. The Chinese connection is tied to trade deals with the United States, one of the main pillars of the Trump administration agenda and agreements that predate the coronavirus outbreak. The Associated Press reported the two governments have raised tariffs on billions of dollars of each other's imports since 2018 in a fight over Beijing's trade surplus and technology ambitions. Under the January agreement, Washington agreed to reduce some tariff hikes and postpone others in exchange for what Trump said was a Chinese commitment to buy American farm goods and other exports worth $200 billion. Beijing has resumed purchases of American soybeans, but has not yet to confirm the size of any commitment. Now on Sunday, when did this come out? Let me see. This came out Friday. Thursday or Friday. Now on Sunday, Trump told Fox News if they don't buy, we'll terminate the deal. He said very simple. Associated Press, reported that Chinese and U.S. officials spoke by phone on Friday, according to Chinese news outlet. Now, I don't know whether this was this past Friday or the Friday before, but they spoke on the phone. Chief Chinese Envoy, Vice President, I'm not going to pronounce his name, you'll see it when I link it. U.S. Trade Representative, Vice Premier, I can't pronounce, it's Lou something. U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin agreed to create a favorable atmosphere and conditions for implementing the Phase 1 agreement signed in January. The Phase 1 agreement signed in January. Tell me this thing wasn't planned. They signed this thing back in January. The U.S. meat shortage and Phase 1 goals of increasing exports to China seem to be opposing forces, raising the question of whether sales and shipments will or should be limited. Some restrictions would not be surprising, given U.S. President Donald Trump's more combative tone in his recent comments on trade with China. Trump also, last week, ordered meat processing plants to stay open to protect U.S. meat supply. But this has sparked some backlash from unions and lawmakers over the safety of workers, and it's not clear if the mandate will have the desired effect on production. Now, I just asked my husband the other day, we haven't heard anything else about that executive order that he signed to put these meat packing places back to work, because half of them are shut down due to the workers getting the virus. But he has nothing else has been said about it on the news for the past 2 weeks. Now we know why. The unions are giving him a hard time about this. The Reuters piece said the preliminary U.S. export data for April suggests that pork exports to China were comparable with March, while beef shipments were likely higher, and that most of the sales and exports to China accumulated before the U.S. meat shortage spiked. The value of all U.S. pork, beef, poultry, and products exported to China in the first 3 months of 2020 totaled $781 million. And this is an analysis that Reuters reported. Now, I'm going to say something here. You got all these, you got all this slaughter of meat, and yet we have shortages here in the U.S. for pork and beef. That matter of fact, the grocery store has put a limit on all meat. You can only get 2 packs of meat, whether it be pork or beef at a time, per customer. There's no more than that. The meat department, the meat aisles are half empty. But yet they're shipping unused pork to China. You know what? I had made a suggestion this morning, and I'm going to say something about this. This is all, I know it's all planned. Looking at it now, this is all one big plan. And I think partially the Democrats have something to do with it. I'm just saying, I'm just out there just talking out loud, thinking out loud. You got all these people who have this shortage on food, but yet they're killing the cows and pigs and exporting the excess pork to China. You got the milk that's being dumped. You think this wasn't planned on purpose? Think again. This is all one big ploy. And I don't know whether it's a ploy to get Trump out of office or what the deal is. But they're all in this together. I'm just saying, they're all in it together. This is why we put our trust in one man. And that's the Lord Jesus Christ. We look for him, and that's it. When I read this, my mouth literally dropped. And my husband just laughed and said, yeah. It was no surprise at all. But it was just mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling how this was all planned out. But what's interesting, and what keeps me going on this, and what's interesting is the fact that the Lord is coming in the air. The rapture is going to happen. And when I see stuff like this, I see Bible prophecy taking over. I see that we are out of here soon. I'll link the article in the description box. In the meantime, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Have a blessed day. I'll be back later with more stuff. This is one story I can't get over. But have a happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Bye.